Imagine the scene. You're lying on the couch, finally relaxed, scrolling through your feed or watching a video. The world is quiet. Your mind is at peace. Suddenly, the screen changes. The video stops. Your phone starts ringing. A name appears. And instead of thinking, nice, someone wants to talk to me, your stomach drops. Your heart skips. You stare at the device as if it were a grenade about to explode in your hand. Welcome to the club of people who hate answering calls. If you're the type who lives with your phone on silent, who lets it ring until it stops just to text back later. Hey, I saw you called. Can you talk here? Know this. You're not weird and you're not alone. For a lot of people today, the sound of a phone ringing isn't an invitation. It's an invasion. The first thought is rarely positive. If it's during work hours, you imagine a problem. If it's late at night, you think something terrible has happened. We've been conditioned to see calls as synonymous with urgency, pressure, or bad news. After all, if it was something simple, they'd send a message. But behind this discomfort, there's more than annoyance. There's anxiety, need for control, and a brain that has gotten used to a very different rhythm of communication. In this video, we're going to talk about the psychology of those who fear or hate phone calls, why our generation prefers to type, why a simple ringtone can trigger anxiety, and how to set boundaries without guilt. Tell me in the comments, is your phone always on silent? And when it rings, do you answer or pretend you didn't see it and ask, "What's up?" later? If this topic already gave you a little relief, subscribe to the channel. Here we talk seriously without needing to call you for that. We live in the era of asynchronous communication. The name is fancy, but the idea is simple. I send a message when I can, and you respond when you can. It respects each person's time and energy. Texts and audios say, "I remembered you, respond when it fits." The call does the opposite. It bursts in saying, "Stop everything and pay attention to me now." It ignores whether you're working, resting, crying, or just enjoying your own silence. It demands presence, immediacy, and priority. Psychologically, this is why so many people feel irritation or anxiety when the phone rings. It's the feeling of being pulled out of your own rhythm and thrown into someone else's. Humans hate losing control, and a live call puts you at the mercy of another person's time and subject. You don't know if it will be 30 seconds or 30 minutes. You don't know what's coming. For an anxious brain, this is the perfect recipe for discomfort. There is also another factor. In text, you have the power to edit. You write, reread, erase, change your mind, adjust the tone with an emoji. You build the version of yourself you want to show. The message is your rehearsed script. The call is live. There is no delete, no backspace, no time to think calmly. Silence on the line feels like failure. A stumble feels like exposure. For those who are already self-critical, the fear of saying something wrong, sounding awkward, or being misinterpreted in real time is huge. In addition, we're visually blind on the phone. In face-to-face conversation, most of the information comes from body language and facial expression. On a call, you only have the voice, and your brain, lacking visual cues, fills the gaps with imagination. Every silence can be misread. Every tone of voice can be overinterpreted. That's exhausting. On top of all this, we've been conditioned by experience. Good news and light subjects usually arrive by text. Calls, on the other hand, tend to be used for problems, urgencies, and telemarketing. Your nervous system has learned that ringtone angst threat. It's Pavlov, but with cortisol instead of drool. So no, you're not too much for disliking calls. Your brain is simply trying to protect your attention, your energy, and your sense of control. What can you do about this in a world where people still call? First, remember something obvious that we often forget. You're not obligated to answer. The phone is a device you own, not a remote control of you. Rejecting a call is not a crime. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is let it ring and respond later in the channel that's best for you. Second, you can educate the people around you. If possible, gradually train your contacts. When someone calls about something that didn't need to be a call, don't punish yourself for not picking up. Then send a message. "Hey, I was busy and prefer to talk by text. What's up? With repetition, people learn that the fastest way to talk to you is through messages, not calls. For people who are closer and more understanding, you can be direct. I get anxious with unexpected calls. Can you send a message first or ask if it's a good time to call? Setting this boundary is not drama, it's self-care. There's also the middle ground, voice messages. Audios keep the emotionality of the voice, but in an asynchronous format. You record when you can, the other person listens when they can. You can even re-record if you didn't like what you said. For many, this is the perfect balance between connection and control. Of course, emergencies exist. There will always be situations where a call is the best or only option. But that doesn't mean that every time your phone rings, it's your obligation to drop everything. You can, for example, keep the ringtone on only for specific numbers, family work, and leave the rest on silent or do not disturb. The most important thing is to understand that your discomfort has a logic. It's not fragility, it's your nervous system trying to protect itself from overstimulation and surprise demands. When you understand this, guilt decreases and space opens up to create limits. In the end, the cell phone was invented to make life easier, not to turn you into a hostage of other people's timing. If it rings and you don't want to answer, you can let it ring. The world won't end. What really matters will find another way to reach you. If this talk took a bit of the weight off your shoulders, leave a like. Silently, I won't call you to ask. And if you want to keep exploring the psychology behind modern behaviors, subscribe to the channel. Because sometimes choosing silence is not running away. It's just choosing when, how, and with whom you want to be available.